So first things first, before we get started, again, the newsletter, wonderful, wonderful newsletter that we have. Let's see if it comes up. I got several screens open right now. So, right, newsletter, okay. We go back to the beginning. So what is going on, okay? We got a new batch of students that started. Okay, I haven't met them yet. I don't know where they are. Okay. So you see them, just welcome them on board. Take it easy on them. Maybe we'll see them down the pipeline. Okay, when we get back to the kitchen. That is your class holiday calendar for 2020. Your next time off is going to be Friday, August the 14th. There's no class that day. Labor Day, and so forth, so on. Okay, I think by that time you guys will be at the end of this class, this block, and heading for the next one. Okay. And again, there's the website. If anybody's having needing assistance paying your rent, okay. Some announcements coming up. Do keep in touch with your email, your school email, not your personal email. I will probably send you guys some items through your personal email, so keep an eye on them. I like to share a lot of information with everybody, so keep an eye on that email. Okay. And again, just how to protect yourself according to the CDC guidelines. Okay. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit better. Okay. Do all of that. First things first. The imperativeness of washing your hands at all times, and wear your face mask and have social distancing. If you're sick, don't come to school. Okay. And again, how to use bleach. No, it's not 1.5 cup. It's actually a capful. The cap of the bleach, a gallon of bleach, 1 capful for 1 gallon of water. That's too much concentration. It can become toxic. Okay. What else? Uniform standards. All right. So I'm one of those instructors that if I don't see you, there's no visual aspect, you will not maximize the 25 points on your grading rubrics. Okay. If you don't have your chef's coat on, you don't maximize those 25 points. Okay. I had an issue with the first class that we went online. Several students that had their camera off, and unfortunately, one of them was mowing his lawn, and the other ones I would call them, and I would get no answer. Okay. That means you got a 0 that day because there was no response back. Okay. So during this class, if you do have an issue with your computer, I would suggest either try to get it resolved with Chef Robin, or use your phone, whatever you got to do to be visually aspect, during class. If you got to excuse yourself, go to the use restroom, we will give in, we'll have a few breaks here and there. I got to take my dog out to the back too, let him out a little bit. So there'll be a few breaks here in between, okay? If there's a lot of distractions in your home, turn off your voice, mute yourself, or turn your camera, but do come back on. Okay. So with that said and done, I do look for everybody that has their camera on. I can see them, and you have your chef's coat. I just want to see from the chest up. Don't care if you're in shorts and flip flops and whatever. Just as long as you have your chef's coat. Okay. What else? These two couples, Mr. Jamil Hooper and Ms. Ann Derek, they'll be your best friends you'll ever have once you're still looking for a job and internships. Okay. Career Services Corner, look who's hiring, Sweet Green. Okay. There's information. And again, you can email your resume to Natasha Barboza at natasha.barboza@sweetgreen.com, or call her at that phone number. I've never been to Sweet Green. I don't know what it's all about. So, but they are hiring. Okay. What else? And again, Puts Jobs is just a search engine to go look for jobs too. Okay. Just like, what is it? iHireChefs.com, Indeed, Hospitality, Jobs Online. What else? HCareers.com, that sort of thing. So it's an engine. Okay. And just for the fun of it. And again, it is what it is. Okay. Quote of the week, wear kindness today. It makes you look beautiful. Okay, thanks to Chef Tammy. Okay. Trivia. Okay. What is the most eaten vegetables in America? Anybody?
Potatoes.
Anyone else?
Potatoes.
2 potatoes, 3 potatoes, 4 potatoes, 5 potatoes,
Potato.
potatoes. Really? Okay. Potatoes, right? You get onions, potatoes, sweet corn, and tomatoes. Tomatoes, tomatoes. Okay. The answer is potatoes. You're right. This is the order of the most eaten vegetables consumed by Americans. 1 is potatoes, 2 is tomatoes, 3 sweet corn, and 4 is onions. Onions, onions, onions. Oh, but you guys not allergic to potatoes? But you know, if you can consume a lot of potato skins, they can become toxic. You're looking at tons of potato skins, and not just 1 or 2. Okay. All right, so that's the newsletter. Now we're going to go a brief intro and also the expectations. Let me go back and retake attendance again. So Ms. Villalobos, you join us. Who else came in a little bit later? Okay. Ms. Rapp. Okay. Just FYI, guys, I'd like to take attendance at the beginning, during, and afterwards. On your grading, when you guys go to the online portal, every day, I will give you your grade for that day, whatever you did, and I also write my notes. I call them love notes. Okay, did well today. You know, originally on the line, you had your chef's coat, your food looked great, so forth, so on. I like to drop notes so you guys can see what you guys did. Okay. So there'll be notes on your portal. So every day, I know you guys get alert, but you can always go back and check the notes, what happened that day. Okay. If you guys were absent, of course, there'll be 0 for the day, and there'll be you will not be counted for attendance. And on the grading, it'll say absent. That's a safety net for you guys to get your credits and for you guys to get your attendance. Okay. Who else came in? Okay. All right. All right, so as of now, we have Cameron and Jason absent, right? Cool. So we are going to cover day 1, and then I'll get into the rest of the week, all right? So first things first, Chef Intro, that's who I be. That's my experience. I go way back. Yes, I am that old, okay? Over 32, 36 years worth of experience from coast to coast, from California up to New York, Texas, Missouri, Oklahoma, Nebraska, Tennessee, what else? All over the place, okay? That's what I bring to the table for you guys, okay? Several awards and accomplishments, okay? Here and there, yes, I do know about barbecue, even though I'm not from Texas, okay? So expectations, big one. Attendance, on time with uniform, with a professional manner. Okay. You pop in late for class, of course, that's going to affect your grade. It's going to affect your attendance too. Now, I do give a little bit of wiggle time. So if you're 5 minutes late, I am not going to dock you those 5 minutes. Okay. I understand sometimes, you know, the dog ran away, the goldfish flew away, whatever, right? So you're 5 minutes late, that's cool. But if you start being late 10 minutes after, then that's 5 minutes late and so forth, so on, okay? Professionalism, okay, when you're in the kitchen, always say sharp behind. Why is that so important? Because you don't want to get shanked, you don't want to get guillotined, you don't want to get beheaded, you don't want to get sliced or cut, okay? And also too, when you have items in the oven, there'll be certain times when the ovens will be set at certain temperatures. I had an incident with a student that was making a biscotti and one was doing a focaccia. If you guys know from 2-1, focaccia, you bake it at 450 degrees, right? Almost like a pizza. Biscotti has 2 oven temperatures, okay? So the student that was doing the biscotti came in and then check the oven temperature before they popped in the biscottis in the oven for the first baking time. The student that was doing the focaccia didn't alert to the class, hey, by the way, the ovens are 450, heard, okay? So 2 mistakes were done. So the biscottis were baking at 450 degrees. How do you think those biscottis came out?
Hard.
you could have passed them for a shank in prison. Okay, they were so hard, you threw them against the wall, they probably, you know, create a hole in the wall. They became lethal weapons that were look like turds. Okay, so all that labor that went to biscottis went out the trash. Okay, so always be on the alert. Okay, homework. Okay, on your on this class regionals. I don't know if you guys had a chance to go and do some poking around in your syllabus at the menus and the recipes. Okay, did you guys find anything on the recipes? Did you guys poke around yet?
I have. The only thing that was on there was the ingredient, not the amounts or how to do anything.
Bingo. Okay.
Yes, we're working at that too.
Yes. This regionals class is to make you think. Okay. You have the techniques from 201, culinary arts, and so forth, so on. Okay. That means that you cannot modify the recipe and add or delete items from it. If there's sometimes I will tell you guys, hey, by the way, this recipe doesn't work like this. This is what you need to do with it. Okay. But don't go off the beaten path and try to make something else different. The recipes, again, are to make you think. Okay. They don't have no amounts and or methods. They just have the ingredients. Okay. It's your homework to research on how to make the recipe. Now, like tomorrow, meatloaf. I'm pretty sure you guys, most of you guys have made meatloaf in the past, right? Ground beef, salt, pepper, what else? Breadcrumbs, and whatever else you add to the meatloaf, correct? Okay. So you were given, I think, a certain amount of items to work with for Tuesday and Wednesday. Take a look at what you got for Tuesday. Take a look at what you got for Wednesday. Take a look at the recipes. They have the ingredients. But again, it's your homework to do the research on how to make those recipes and bring them to life. Okay. When we're in the kitchen on Thursday and Friday, I will walk with you guys on how to make those recipes, you know, hands-on. Okay. But that's your homework. Okay. You can either take a look at YouTube videos, and I'll share with you guys a few on chat, a couple of links for you guys to take a look at. Not for you guys to follow the recipe, but for you guys to take a look at the techniques. Okay. Participation. Okay. Those of you guys who like to be quiet behind the classroom during the online sessions, if you don't participate enough and add or comment to the lecture, then you're probably not going to maximize your grade for that day. Participation also goes when we go into the lab. Okay. So I encourage you guys to be as talkative as you can. Okay. Ask questions, because I know there will be a lot of questions in your mind. Don't be afraid, ask them. Okay. Closing at the end of the kitchen lab hours, everybody cleans. Okay. I know we're supposed to have somebody washing dishes, but we're going to be in K1 and K2 separated. Okay. There'll be a glass divider, a plastic divider between the tables. So there'll be 2 of you guys per table. Okay. With the mat indicating where you're supposed to be standing and prepping your items. Okay. You dirty your dishes, you go wash and clean them, you put them away. Okay. What else? What to expect next 6 weeks? Okay, we have a lot of that. Okay. Coming up. Uniform standards. Okay. When we're in the classroom, okay, no piercings. I take mine off. I do have an earring. I don't wear it. I take it off. Okay. And I don't expect you guys to have earrings, facial jewelry either. Don't be walking around like a Christmas tree with ornaments all over your face, nose, tongue, cheeks, whatever, eyebrows. Take all your piercings off, okay? Because they might come loose, they might fall into the food. If you bite into it, you're gonna break your tooth. That's gonna hurt like a son of a biscuit, okay? What else? Jewelry, again, try to keep away from wearing a lot of jewelry, fingernails short and clean. Nowadays, you know, even though you wear gloves, we're going to be constantly washing our hands. Notice I say washing our hands. Okay, constantly washing your hands and wearing gloves. Okay, your hair must be tucked in. If you got long hair, tuck it in into a bun. Whatever you do, wear a hairnet and wear your hat on top. Okay, my biggest turnoff is when I find food embedded in hair embedded in my food. It grosses the heck out of me. I don't like any hair on anybody's food. Okay. What else? Long hair, okay. In order to prevent contaminating food products, well, hair must be restrained, okay. School issue, you're supposed to wear your skull cap and your apron, and a clean uniform. Nowadays, that is very important. You come to class, we do line up, we're gonna have your thermometer temperature checked in on your forehead. You have a dirty uniform, you're not allowed to come into the kitchen. You don't have your hat or your apron, you're not allowed to come into your kitchen. You're gonna be sent home, okay? Probably earn a 0 for that day. So clean uniform, the proper apron, the proper hat, okay? What
Chef,
else?
you can still, Chef,
yes.
sorry, I had a question real quick. You can still purchase the caps and aprons and stuff around the corner, right? That's still an available service.
It is, and I usually sometimes I collect some aprons that the students leaving behind. I bring them home, wash them, and I leave in my car. Right now, I have only one in my car, and it's clean, ready to go. Should anybody need an apron, I do have that in emergency sometimes, not all times. But yes, you're able to purchase a hat or apron. Okay.
Okay, heard.
What else? Very imperative. Students must practice good personal hygiene. Okay. Good personal hygiene. That means if you don't take a shower, for God's sakes, man, take a bath or a shower or something. Don't come to school stinking because, again, this thing is no joke. Okay. Always wash your hands. Always make sure you're ready to rock and roll. Okay. No strong perfumes. Don't smell like grandma coming out of church, you know, because you're not going to be able to smell your food or taste your food. Okay. What else? And again, proper uniform. Okay. Attendance. You know all about attendance, right? If you're absent, let me know. I'll throw my number on the chat so you guys can reach out anytime. If you guys are going to be out, I know some of you guys send me an email that we're not going to be in class today. Okay. What else? Grading. Okay. Grading. Once again, uniform. During the online classes, if you're not visible, if I can't see you, your camera's off. I don't know if you're on class or not. Maybe you're mowing the lawn, grocery shopping, whatever the case is, right? If I don't see you, you don't maximize those 25 points. You come to class without the proper uniform, you'll be sent home, and you know, because you don't have the proper uniform. Preparation. Okay. Preparation, we're gonna cover a lot today. A lot. We're gonna cover day by day, by recipe, by menu, by item. Okay, so take a lot of notes today once we start getting to the menu. Okay, that's 25 points. If you come unprepared to class, okay, if you don't know what you're doing, you're not gonna maximize those 25 points. Okay, participation. Again, ask questions, participate as much as you can. You're gonna max out those 25 points. Understanding, it's at the end of the day, when you produce your food, unfortunately, I'm not gonna be able to taste it. So we'll take a look at it, see how you guys present your food on the plate, how you guys execute that menu, and when you guys taste it, I will take a look at your facial expressions. If you make a funny face or a weird face, that means the flavors are not there, okay? So that's how you guys get graded. Absent, 0 for the day. Late or leaving the class early, that's also going to affect you as well too. Okay, so 4 categories: uniform, preparation. So when you come to class, production sheets. Okay, no production sheet, you can't come into the kitchen either. Okay, total for the day 100. Okay, I'm not one of those chef instructors that don't believe in the hundreds. I do if they're well earned. If you come in ready to rock and roll, ready to battle, you've earned your 100 points at the end of the day. You clean up, you come in prepared, you execute the menu, you keep your stations clean at all times, you practice safe hygiene practices, you wash the dishes, you clean, you maximize your points, you get 100 points, okay? So they're doable. It all depends up to you guys, okay? Recipes with ingredients. For the majority of the recipes, okay, we're going to follow each day's menus, production. It's imperative to stay with the recipes. Even when we go to Asian cuisine, don't try to make something that is not on the portal. Okay, I know sometimes a couple of the recipes I will tell you guys what to use instead of what's in the portal, but for the majority of the time, stay within those margins. I'll give you an example. Don't try to make kung pao chicken with cucumbers and oranges. That doesn't work. Okay. Don't try to make something that is not, because it's going to get bastardized. It's going to taste totally different. Okay. So important to stay within the margins, unless, you know, I'll tell you guys, say, don't do this, add this, take away that, or, you know, omit that, don't use it. Okay. Practicals, day 28. Okay. 29 too. Okay. half of you guys will take your practicals. Hopefully all of you guys will take your practicals. This is what's going to be on the practical, okay? You're going to make spring rolls, okay, times 2. So 4 spring rolls, okay? Sweet chili sauce, we're going to use the bottle of chili sauce. You're also going to make pad thai times 2. 2 servings of pad thai. You're also going to make red curry chicken, 2 dishes of red curry chicken. You're also going to make yang chow fried rice, 2 servings of yang chow fried rice, okay? You're going to have 2.5 hours to produce this practical, okay? You're going to have your ingredients. The day of the practical, you can set up your tables, grab your product, only what you need. Once we hit China, I will give you the recipes for all these practicals. It's an open book test, okay? It's an open book test. I will give you the recipes, and you can start possibly prepping a day or 2 ahead of the practicals. That means you can go ahead and fabricate some the proteins. You can start doing some garlic, some ginger, and get ready for the practicals. Wrap everything up, tag him, put them in the cooler, and leave him for the day of. Okay, so the day of, you're going to come in, set up your table with your equipment, and once the clock starts, you can go ahead and start cooking. Okay, so it's really easy,
And
guys. Okay.
how will we be doing that if we're doing just like online, if we're not coming in?
Online, the same thing. You're going to be given a certain amount of time, and you're going to produce those 4 items, 2 each.
Okay.
Okay. What else? And again, the 29, the same thing goes, making those items online, okay? What else? The final grading of the practical, okay? And I will remind you guys again, okay? Fried rice, it's worth 20 points. Is the right cooked properly? Are your knife skills on point? Using the wok properly? The flavors there. So I'm going to take your word on the flavors, okay, when you taste it. What about the presentation? Okay, I don't want to see no chrome bracelets, kind of bed and breakfast food slapped on the plate. Okay, pad thai, are the noodles cooked properly? They're not all broken up. They're supposed to be long, stringy noodles like spaghetti and meatballs. Okay, what about the knife skills? Is everything cut accordingly, consistently? Are the vegetables cooked properly? What about the wok and flavors and presentation? 20 points. Red curry chicken. Did you fabricate the chicken properly? Okay. Is the chicken cooked properly? Is the vegetables cooked properly? Is the coconut milk versus the red curry mixed properly at a good ratio? No lumps of red curry in the dish? What about the wok action, the flavors, and also the presentation? Again, I don't want to see no slop food on the plate. Okay. Spring rolls, knife skills. The vegetables cooked properly, good knife skills on the vegetables, okay? Noodles folded in right, spring roll wrappers wrapped tightly, the crispy golden brown. And when we get to the spring rolls, and again, I'll be very blunt with you guys, okay? Whether you do it or not, none of my business, but anybody that can roll a joint, blunt or doobie, can roll a spring roll, okay? What else? Uniforms, the day of, okay? Uniforms. Hat, apron, chef's coats, clean, ready to rock and roll. 10 points. Your sanitation. Each of you guys will be responsible throughout the 6 weeks for setting up your own station on Thursday and Friday. Okay, that means your own sanitation bucket, your own cutting boards, your own everything. Okay, washing hands. Very, very important. Okay, as much as you can, wash your hands at all times. Clean stations, no clutterness. That's also worth 10 points. That is worth 100 points. So your practical is worth 20% of your grade. 20%, okay? So very imperative that you maximize your points. And when we go in the kitchen, we'll be making some of these items ahead of time. Okay, so you're not gonna go blinded on the practical, not know how to make these items and not know how to, what to look out for, okay? So you have some practice beforehand, okay? Now, following the CDC guidelines, okay? We're going to follow the strict guidelines on where to come in and where to exit the building. And apparently, according to Chef Robin, we'll be coming in through the loading dock. Okay, we're going to be in K1 and K2 unless that changes. Okay, the bathrooms you guys are going to be using are the ones in K1 and K2. Okay, those of you guys who like to wander around, be the, we call them Houdinis, who disappear and go visit other classes, Julian. Okay. Cannot go into bake shop, visit patient students. You cannot go into K3 or K4, visit other students. Okay. You have
Oh,
your
yeah, no.
product, you have your kitchen, right?
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
Yes.
So there's going to be no socializing. Okay. Those of you guys who are smoke polluters, anybody smokes in this class? Vape, smoke, okay? You're going to have to hold off during kitchen lab hours. You're only there for 4 hours, okay? I know sometimes you're going to wish you could have a smoke break. Can't. You go outside and smoke, you'll be sent home, okay? Julian, you go out and visit the pastry kitchen, you'll be sent home, okay? The kitchen lab hours are going to be very strict. We come in, do a lineup, make sure you have your temperature taken, your CDC questionnaire answered, your quiz answered, clean uniform. The only item that's supposed to be you can bring into the kitchen is a tool knife kit. No backpacks, no purses, nothing. Just your tool knife. That's it. Okay? That is it. Come in, set up your station, start cooking. There'll be no lecture those days. They were going to cover the whole entire week on Mondays. Okay? No lecture those days. So when you go in, line up, you go into your kitchen, you set up your station, you start producing. You got about 3 hours to produce, okay? 3 hours to produce. It's a little bit more than usual normally because we used to have 2.5 hours. Now you got an extended 30 minutes. 30 minutes, 3 hours to produce. You execute your food. Your tables are clean, uncluttered. You execute your food. We look at it, judge it by the way it looks. You taste it. I give you critique. You can take pictures, whatever you want. Eat it if you want, or take it home, okay? And then start cleaning up. Whatever product we have left on your table, it does not go back to the coolers. It does not go back to dry storage. That's for you guys to take home. If you want it, take it home. If you don't, it's going to go in the trash, okay? So nothing goes back into the cooler. Nothing goes back to dry storage. What you get is what you cook. And at the end of the day, you eat it or take it home and take whatever is left that you don't utilize, take it home. Got it?
Chef, when will we know which groups we're divided into, like via like K1 or K2? Are you going to do that day of? Is that going to change every week? How's that going to work?
I will let you guys choose your tables. There'll be 2 per table. There won't be 4 per table, so there's no groups, okay? So
Sure.
2 students per table. So you choose your teammate who's going to be with you on that table.
Cool.
Okay? Anyways, before coming to the building, you must answer the CDC questionnaire that is on your portal homepage, and I'll show you where that is, okay? At the very top. It's called the Daily Wellness Check at Austin, CU301 Mid. If you don't answer this wellness check, you will not be allowed in the kitchen. You will also answer the quiz before entering the building. If you don't answer this questionnaire, you will not be allowed in the kitchen. I believe Chef Robin sent that today, so I'll take a look at it and let you guys know what it is or where to find it before we go in the lab on Thursday. Okay. Once you have answered both of them, then we'll continue to do lineup while you keep up your distance of 6 feet apart. Okay. We're going to have an infrared thermometer. We're going to check the temperature in your forehead. Okay. If it's higher than normal, you will not be allowed in the kitchen. So if you're sick or have been exposed to or been around someone that has COVID-19, don't come to class. Stay home. Okay. What else? You'll be required to always wear your face mask. Do not take it off. Only when you're slightly to go ahead and taste your food or you're going to eat it, but you got to put it back on again, okay? Always have the face mask. If you're walking around without a face mask, out the door, okay? Washing your hands will be the most imperative part of every day's production. It's going to be a pain because those of you guys are going to choose that table by the ice machine. You got to walk all the way down to the bathrooms and wash your hands, okay? Or by the mop sink in K1 to wash your hands, okay? Always, always wash your hands, okay? Again, bathrooms will be K1 and K2. K2, okay? No student is to wander or go visit on the kitchen at all. Julian, okay? If you do, you'll be sent home, okay? No smoking allowed. Again, you're gonna maybe take a drive before you come in. That's fine. But if you do want to smoke or vape, you're gonna be sent home, okay? Each table they're already being divided 2 per students. There is a plastic divider between the tables, okay? So you got 2 per student, which is better because in the past, you used to have 4 students per table. Now you got 2, so you got a little more space to work with, okay? So that's all in a nutshell for what to expect. Okay. Now I'm gonna take you to the homepage and show you where that questionnaire is. I don't know if you guys looked around or not, but
Chef, I have a quick question.
go ahead.
Are we still allowed to bring in like water bottles, or do you want us to do disposable ones, or just cantinas, or are we just not doing that at all this time?
You can bring your water bottle, but keep it underneath your table.
Okay.
Don't leave it on the cubby holes back there because again, we want to try to eliminate. So we have no cups in school, and nowadays, can I use the mason jar? Can I use a cup, right? So
Right.
go to Dollar General. You have an iPhone, you can afford a water bottle, right? So
Right.
grab a water bottle that has the cap, and you can use your mouth to open it up and close it, not with your hand, and leave it underneath your table at all times. Okay.
Heard that.
All right. So let's take a quick look at this page. Where are we? Okay. So here it is, guys. Okay. So this is the homepage, right? At the very top, you'll see it says here, daily wellness check at the station Austin 301 mid. Okay. You open it, open the link, and it's going to give you this questionnaire. Okay. You will fill it in. Okay. And that's it. Pretty simple. Okay. It's got several questions, yes or no. Okay. All you got to do is yes or no, and that's pretty much it. Okay. On the portal. Go ahead.
Chef Miguel, question. This is Corey. For this wellness check thing that we do every day that we come to the school?
Every day.
Okay.
You can do it during lineup. You can do it before lineup, but it has to be before we start lab hours. Okay.
Okay.
Not right now or Tuesday, Wednesday, because you guys stay at home. But when we go on the actual campus.
Okay.
So on the portal, there's a lot of good information here. Okay. So again, today we'll cover a lecture. Tomorrow will be we're gonna go over tomorrow's menu. Okay, the Midwest. Now there are no quizzes. The only ones that you have is a week 1 conversion knowledge quizzes. Week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5, and week 6. I'm going to open those up probably tomorrow morning, and I will let you guys know when they close. Okay, you can take them anytime you want to before they close. Once they close, if you don't take them, that's it. They're done. They're gone. Okay, you lose out. If you don't take those knowledge quizzes, you guys know very well that they drop your grade average tremendously. So my advice to you guys is take them as soon as you can. Don't wait. Okay, but I'll let you guys know when they're open. Okay. So, yeah, the quiz is right here on top, okay? For you guys to take every single day. Got it?
Heard.
Okay. Any questions so far?
I think some people had some questions about getting the food.
So today was a rough day. Today you're supposed to went to school and pick up your food on campus. Knock on the back door, it's locked. Chef Raph was there, right, Julian?
Yeah, so basically you just go in the storage things and he'll give you a box and what is it, heavy cream?
Did you go today to pick up
I went
your
today.
stuff?
I went today.
Okay, you must have gone after I left because I was told this was all the stuff there was for Chef Scott's class and not for our class.
Well,
Yeah, I got one for our class.
Alex went too, and Alex was like, "Well, this is for Chef Miguel," and then he's like, "Come this way." And we went over
Okay.
Yeah, like, literally the first thing I said was, "We're in Chef Miguel's 2 p.m." and he was just like, he didn't even say a word. Chef Raph.
Yeah, he
like,
just said, "Come here." Yeah.
Okay. I'll have to talk to him tomorrow because I'm being told two or three different things. I'm being told I'm hybrid. I'm being told I'm online and that I'd be getting a stipend, but I didn't receive anything in the email saying what class I'm in or anything.
Okay.
So,
Corey, man, you gotta start doing the telling.
huh?
So
You gotta
now,
start doing the telling, Corey. You gotta stop listening.
Yeah, man.
now you know, right? So if you
You're on.
can't, send an email to Chef Rap as soon as possible, as soon as you can, and explain the situation, and hopefully have your bag of goodies tomorrow. You can pick them up before class starts. Okay?
Well, I'll be there working, putting cards together for Wednesday and Thursday, so
Okay.
That's not an issue. I just don't know if I'm a hybrid or if I'm online. It's like,
Chef Miguel,
Yeah.
I have a question regarding that. I'm pretty sure that I talked to Shelly and I'm online. When it
Okay.
comes to ingredients, do we look through the recipes and buy our ingredients from there, or are we getting a certain list to buy?
There's a shopping list for you guys to buy. I don't know if it was sent out or not. I'll do some more digging and information on that one. If you're here in Austin, then go pick up your bag of goodies at with Chef Rap in the back dock. But if you're not here, then I would presume that you got a stipend email to your home address. Okay, for you guys to go buy your own groceries.
Yeah, I got the money, but I don't think we've gotten an email regarding what to buy or anything
Okay.
like
Yeah,
that.
I got the money too
Wow.
as well.
How do you get the money?
It's through Bank Mobile. They just
Yeah,
sent
through
me
Bank Mobile.
the same way they gave us the 1,200.
So I will email you guys the shopping list. Okay, those of you guys who get the money.
Oh,
Okay,
yes.
thank you.
I need the shopping list as well.
Okay, Raul, Jada, and Mikael. Anybody else?
Right here.
Lexi, I
Yeah, me
need
too,
it as well.
please.
And Mikal.
Okay.
I need one as well, Chef.
Then I'll just send them all to you guys. How's that? All right.
Heard, Chef.
Thank
I'll
you.
just do an email blast and send them all to you guys. Okay.
Chef Raff told me to talk to Shelly. So I'm going to email Shelly real quick and find out what she says.
Yeah.
I have a question.
I have an answer.
Because I got in the box that I got today, there's several substances that aren't labeled. And I'm pretty sure I got like baking soda or baking powder, but I'm not sure which one is which.
Do a taste.
Actually, you got one of each.
Yeah, but how am I supposed to know which one is which?
I asked Chef Raff that. He said you should know by now.
Just taste it. I don't
His
taste
salt
baking
looks like
powder.
sugar, you know. So yeah, if you guys have like Sim as Jada had a comment, it's up to you. Okay, if you want to go straight a line, go talk to Miss Shelley. Okay, she'll make that happen. Okay. But yeah, it's serious, guys. So I'm excited to go back to the kitchen. I have mixed feelings. I never wore a mask in the kitchen. Now I have to wear a mask and what have you not. So it'll be a little bit different. Okay. But I'm excited to be back in the kitchen. That's what I've been doing in the last 36 plus years. And all of a sudden to not be in the kitchen is like, right? Kind of hurts. Okay. So without further notice, let's go take a look at tomorrow. Okay. Let's take a look at tomorrow's region. Let's take a look at the menu for tomorrow. Okay. Let me close this right here. Okay. Come on. Close. There we go. So tomorrow you're going to be concentrating on the Midwestern United States. Okay. And that's in the Midwest. Anybody from the Midwest?
Yes, I am. I'm originally from Missouri, so.
Where Missouri?
St. Louis, East St. Louis.
St. Louis. Okay. I lived in Branson, Missouri, which is southwest.
Really?
Yeah. And I've been to St. Louis because when I moved from California to New York back in '96, I drove from California to through Arizona, New Mexico, the Panhandle, Texas, Oklahoma, Missouri, and so forth, so on, all the way down to Ohio, Pennsylvania, and to New York. So if you know Midwest, it's all about potatoes and steak and potatoes, right? Not a lot of spicy food. Midwest.
Yes, that's true. It's very true.
Spicy food. And in St. Louis is the birth of the fried ravioli.
Yes.
Fried
I love
ravioli.
ravioli.
Right? I had a student from St. Louis, his name is Eric. He graduated about 2 years ago, and he made fried ravioli during class. Because again, St. Louis, that's a home of fried ravioli. Also, if you guys didn't know, St. Louis, Missouri is where Chef Boyardee, a real chef, started his business, canning some canned ravioli. Okay, so I know we see a lot of memes about Chef Boyardee, but it was an actual real person with the a mindset of selling canned ravioli. Okay. So Midwestern states. Okay. Anyways, they encompass the Midwest, consists of the states in the central of the country, east of the Rocky Mountains. States considered part of the Midwest are North, South Dakota, Nebraska, Kansas, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa, Missouri, and Illinois. Sometimes the states just east of these, Indiana, Ohio, and Michigan are also included when describing the Midwest. I've been to Ohio too. Okay. A lot of Native American influence in the cuisine. Okay, there were gatherers, hunters, eating the fruits and veggies native to the regions. Other tribes practice agriculture. They use farming methods that let them grow crops on the same soil for many, many years. Okay, a lot of Native American food. Okay, hunting. They hunted for meal. In the 1500s, Spanish brought horses to America. No, they didn't eat the horses. Okay, I never had horse meat, and I probably never will. Just FYI. Anyways, they helped the Indians of the Great Plains to hunt buffalo. Midwestern cuisine is a regional cuisine, draws culinary roots from significantly from cuisines of Central, North, and Eastern Europe. Culinary profiles seem synonymous with American food. Over the decades, people including Germans, British, Italian, Hungarian, Scandinavians immigrated to the Midwestern, sometimes called the breakfast of America. Midwest serves at the center of grain production, particularly wheat, corn, and soybeans. Okay. Yes, from legumes to fry bread. Anybody had a chance to have a fry bread before? Do you guys know what a fry bread is? What's a fry bread, Julian?
Nah, I'm just fine. I don't know. It looks like, I don't know.
You guys ever heard fry bread tacos? Popular in Native America. Okay, fry bread tacos are huge in New Mexico, Oklahoma. A lot of the Comanche Nation. The dough is real easy to do. Okay, it's real easy to do. You roll it out and you fry it. Okay, you deep fry that sucker like a baguette, but a whole like a little pizza shell. Then you bring it out. You can top it with cooked seasoned taco meat, shredded lettuce, sour cream, and some diced tomatoes. And that's your fried Indian taco. Okay, fry bread, easy to make. Okay.
I know what those are.
Yeah, there you go on the left-hand side. That's a fried Indian taco.
Yeah, I'm from New Mexico, so I was like, I should know this. And I looked it up and I was like, I've eaten one of these. They're really good. You can put like whatever you want on the top. It's pretty good.
Yeah, so like I said, in New Mexico, they're huge and they're like big, humongous. They're big.
Yeah, they're pretty much like giant circles. They're like really hard sopapillas.
Exactly. You know, Mexico, we call them buñuelos. We sprinkle them with sugar, cinnamon, and some syrup. But in the native country, they're finding in tacos. And I got a recipe from one of the Native Americans from Comanche that she used to go around the country and all the county fairs, making cash money out of that fried Indian taco. And they're cheap to make too. You can make a lot of cash dough out of that. Okay.
Chef Miguel?
Yes.
This is Raul. My mom makes buñuelos every year for Christmas. So this is basically the same dough, just no adding sugar or cinnamon?
No sugar, cinnamon. Okay. It's 4 cups of AP flour sifted. You have 5 teaspoons of baking soda, teaspoon of salt, and you mix enough milk until it becomes doughy, until it becomes like a bread dough, and that's it. You let it rest.
Right, yeah.
Pull that out and fry it. It's real simple and easy to make.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
4 cups of AP flour sifted, 5 teaspoons baking soda, 1 teaspoon of salt, and enough milk to make it like a bread dough. There you go. Learn something new, right? Easy to make. Okay, like I say, guys, take a lot of notes because I like to share a lot with you guys, all right? Anyways, Native American food continued. Hunting for a meal. 1500s, again, brought horses. We know that. Okay, we get past that. Anyways, Midwestern states cuisine. Midwestern states also produce most of the country's wild rice. You guys know the wild rice is not really actually rice. It is grass, okay? Beef and pork processing always have been important. Beef and pork Also been important in Midwestern industries with strong role in the regional diets. Chicago, Kansas City with historically stockyards and processing centers for beef. Trade in Cincinnati, nicknamed Porkopolis, was one of the largest pork producing city in the world. Iowa is the center of the pork production in the U.S. For most of the oceans, Midwesterners traditionally ate little seafood, but up in the upper Midwest, northern Midwest, walleye fish is huge. Walleye fish is huge in Minnesota, Wisconsin, up in the Great Lakes area, okay? Anyways, relying on freshwater fish such as perch, trout, supplemented by canned tuna and canned or cured salmon, herring, modern air shipping, brought some great seafood to the Midwest. Dairy products, especially cheese, an important group of the regional ingredients with Wisconsin known as America's Dairyland, okay? Here's some statistics. Cheese production in the Midwest. Wisconsin cheese production in 2009, total about 2.63 billion pounds of cheese. That's what they call the cheeseheads, okay? Cheddar, 24.9. Mozzarella, 32.8. Other American, 7.4. Italian, 14%. Others, 17. Hispanic, 2.1. And Munster cheese. Munster cheese is awesome for grilled cheese sandwiches and tomato basil biscuit, okay? So the Midwestern food. Upper Midwest prime fruit growing region sees the extensive use of apples, blueberries, cranberries, cherries, peaches, and other cold climate fruit of its cuisine. Traditional Midwestern cook uses a light hand with seasonings. Again, no spicy food in the Midwest. You cook like Louisiana does or Mexico does, and cuss at you, okay? Preferring sage, dill, caraway, mustard, and parsley to hot, bold, spicy flavors. Germans started to arrive and brought beer, sauerkraut, and sausages. They also introduced the traditional server meals in family style. Meats, relishes, soups, vegetables, and pies were sent to the table one at a time. All right, I'll see you in a shopping list, okay? Anyways, British bought pasties, other meat pies, including bread pudding, roast, and potatoes. Italians brought pastas and native cheeses. Hungarians brought goulash, lefse potato bread, and meatballs were introduced by the Scandinavians. Meatballs by the Scandinavians, not Italians, okay? So Midwestern has many American regional cuisines. Midwest cooking has been heavily influenced by migrant groups throughout the Northern Midwest. Northern European migration groups also predominated. Swedish pancakes, Polish pierogies, excellent, are common. Wisconsin, Missouri, Kansas, Ohio, and Illinois. Destinations for many ethnic Germans, immigrants, so pork, sausages, and potatoes are also prevalent in the rustic belt. Many Greeks became restaurateurs in part of the Mediterranean influence. Native Americans show up in the use of corn and wild rice. Listen, Midwestern cooks use a light hand with seasonings, again, not too spicy. Okay. Region is also headquarters of several seminal hamburger chains, including Mickey D's, Oak Brook in Illinois, founded in California, but turned to the iconic franchise by Mr. Ray Kroc. Has anybody watched that movie? No? By Ray Kroc?
The one with Michael Keaton?
Right.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Not Super Size, but that was good too. Anyways, beginning with the still standing store in Des Plaines, Illinois. Midwest also home to Hardee's in St. Louis, Missouri. Culver's in Sauk City, Wisconsin. Steak and Shake founded in Normal, Illinois. And based on Indianapolis, Wendy's in Dublin, Ohio. Diner Chain Big Boy, known as for burgers, is headquarters in Warren, Michigan. Both Pizza Hut, now based in Plano, Texas, and White Castle, based in Columbus, Ohio, since 1933, were founded in Wichita, Kansas. Besides Pizza Hut, the Midwest is home to other largest pizza chains in the U.S. Little Caesars, Domino's, both based in Michigan, Detroit, and Papa John's Pizza, founded in Indiana. Those current headquarters are just outside federally defined Midwest, Louisville, Kentucky. Okay. So bratwurst and potatoes, Wurstmark, sometimes spelled Wurstmark or Wurstmarket, variation of the fish fry, founded predominantly in German American communities, is a huge event. Man, you get full, man. Anyway, Anyways, Wurstmart is usually held by churches as fundraising events where people pay for a buffet of sausages and other side dishes. Common side dishes include mashed potatoes, gravy, sauerkraut. Wurstmarkt comes from the German word Wurstmarket, meaning sausage market. Wurstmarts were founded mostly in small rural German American communities in the Midwest, particularly around St. Louis. Midwestern cuisine is regional cuisine. The American Midwest, it draws its culinary roots from significant from other cuisines in Central, North, and Eastern Europe, native North America, and is influenced by regional and locally grown foodstuffs and the culinary diversity. Everyday Midwestern is home cooking, generally showcase simple and hearty dishes that make use of abundance of local grown foods. Culinary profile may seem synonymous with American food. Quote in 2007 interview with the Daily Herald, Chef Stefan Langolis, a pioneer of Midwestern local food movement, described it, think of Thanksgiving dinner, turkey and cranberry sauce, wild rice, and apple pie. That's why it's so heavy. Steak and potatoes, and it's really hearty. Okay. Midwestern also serves cuisine as well as sophisticated contemporary techniques. Okay. Here's some popular dishes from the Midwest. Bratwurst with sauerkraut and potatoes. Remember that day in 201? You guys made some bratwurst? Sauerkraut too? All those missing just a beer, right? Go to Fredericksburg. From Bourbon, Ohio, Berberto chicken created by Serbian immigrants, deep fried in lard, usually accompanied by hot rice dish, vinegar, coleslaw, and French fries. Okay. Serbian immigrants, deep fried some chicken in lard. Imagine all those flavors. Man, oh man. And you thought Popeye was great, right? Chicago style deep dish pizza. Ethnic mix of the people of Chicago has led to distinctive cuisine, restaurant foods exclusive to the area, such as Italian beef, the Maxwell Street Polish, the Chicago style hot dog, Chicago style pizza, chicken Vesuvio, and the Gibardo, as well as a large number of steakhouses. Greek dishes, Sanganaki, was first flambéed at the table in Greektown. Chicago's oldest signature dish, shrimp de Dijon, was also invented around the turn of the 20th century. Today, flights from the Ohio airport bring Chicago's fresh food from all over the world. Anyway, shrimp de Dijon was invented at the turn of the 20th century by the Dijon brothers, Belgian immigrants and owners of the Dijon's Hotel and Restaurant in Chicago. Garlicky bread casserole is one of the earliest windy seafood specialties. Chicago style deep dish pizza. We call this soup in a bowl. So much tomato. Okay.
Chicagoans call it the same thing. We hate deep dish. It sucks.
You don't like deep dish pizza?
Hell no. Only transplants like deep dish.
Yes.
Chicago style's thin crust and cut in squares.
Yeah, deep dish is like you have all this tomato sauce in a bread bowl. So you don't cut it.
Bad, but most of the deep dish places are just terrible. Like Lil Minati's is awful. And that's like one of the most well known.
Yes, it is. Cincinnati, the Queen City, known for its namesake, Cincinnati chili. This Greek-inspired meal sauce, ground beef, seasoned with cinnamon, nutmeg, allspice, cloves, bay leaf, cumin, chili powder, and unsweetened dark chocolate. What do you guys think about this chili? Again, take a look at the ingredients. Ground beef, cinnamon, nutmeg, allspice, cloves, bay leaf, cumin, chili powder, and chocolate. What does that sound to you guys?
Sounds like mole.
Bingo. Mole, right? It's pretty much mole. Okay. Serve over spaghetti or hot dogs. How would you like your mole with spaghetti? Right. Like chili con carne, Cincinnati-style chili is almost never eaten by itself or instead of consumed in many ways, or in cheesy conies, which are original variations of the chili dog. Goeta, a meat and grain sausage or mush made from pork and oats, is unique to the greater Cincinnati area, every bit as much as the Queen City icon Cincinnati chili. Was inspired by traditional porridge-like German peasant food, Stiputze. It incorporates high portions of meat to grain and is thicker, forming a sliceable loaf. Slices are typically fried like sausage patties and served for breakfast. More than 1 million pounds of goeta are served in Cincinnati area per year. Cleveland, local specialties such as the pork-based city chicken and the Polish boy, loaded sausage sandwich into Cleveland are dishes definite cuisine based on the hearty, expensive fare. Okay. And again, Commercially, Hector Boyardee, aka Chef Boyardee, also started his business in Cleveland. Cleveland, not Missouri. Okay, and again, his name was Hector Boyardee, true life chef. Okay, Detroit. The specialties include the Coney Island hot dogs, founded hundreds of unaffiliated Coney Island restaurants. Detroit also has its own style of pizza, a thick, crusted Sicilian cuisine influence, a rectangular shape called square pizza. Detroit foods include sip sauce, served on steaks, the triple decker, Dinty Moore sandwich, corned beef layer with lettuce, tomato, Russian dressing, and a Chinese American dish called Warshu Gai, or almond boneless chicken. Indianapolis was settled by Americans of British descent and Irish German immigrants. So the city's food draws from these influences. Much of the food is considered to be classic American cuisine. Later immigrants included many Jews, Poles, Eastern Europeans, and Italians, all whom may influence the local food. Two of the city's most distinctive dishes are the pork tenderloin sandwich and sugar cream pie. For those of you guys who are diabetic, sugar cream pie. So tomorrow, green beans, buttery green beans on your menu tomorrow, okay? So you're gonna clip your green beans, make sure they're clean on both sides, okay? Make sure you blanch them. Remember how to blanch veggies from 101, right? Hot boiling water with a teaspoon of salt. Drop your green beans for a few minutes. Do not leave them in there because they're gonna get all mushy. Take them out and shock them in ice water. Strain the water, set them aside so they can get dried out. And you're gonna saute them in a saute pan with a little bit of, I would suggest oil. You can use clarified butter, but that'd be throwing a lot of money away. Okay, so a little bit of canola oil is fine. No olive oil. Olive oil is too strong and it's gonna make it bitter. So get a nice hot pan of canola oil. It's nice smoking hot. Make sure the green beans are patted dry. Don't try to throw them in there when the beans are wet because you're gonna have this volcano of explosive fire in your face, right? So go ahead and put them in there and saute them very lightly for a minute or two. Season them with a little bit of salt, maybe some fresh cracked black pepper, and take them out. You're gonna have those charred look feel on the green beans on the outside, okay? So that's your green beans. So when you put them on a plate, your green beans are your vegetables, your mashed potatoes are your starch, and your meatloaf is your protein. Make sure that when you present this food tomorrow, again, don't just throw green beans on the plate. Make sure you utilize your artistic talent to plate up your food, okay? So green beans tomorrow, okay? Next, mashed potatoes, okay? I hope you guys on your grocery shopping bag got some heavy cream, okay? The recipe says, milk. Even in 101, it says you utilize milk. I don't like to use milk because milk turns them loose, okay? So you're gonna peel your potatoes, cut them up in small pieces, not dice or small dice or large cube, just rough chop in small pieces, and go ahead and boil them in water until you can stick a fork and they're nice and tender. Take them out, strain them, okay? And if you don't have a food mill, utilize an old school whisk or a spoon to mash your potatoes, okay? Make sure there's no lumps in your potatoes, okay? As less lumpy as you can, okay? Because maybe you want to put them in a piping bag with a star tip and do a rosette like you do chest potatoes, your green beans on the side, and then your meatloaf half on your resting your potatoes and half resting in your green beans. So it's center of the plate and it's got some height, okay? So when you make your potatoes, make sure you season with a little bit of salt, a little bit of whole butter, not melted butter, and now a little bit of hot heavy cream. Heavy cream, when it boils, it becomes a thickening starch. So when you add that little bit of heavy cream to your potatoes, it'll make them solid, not loose, okay? We don't want it to look like, okay, like a glob. And then meatloaf. You guys know who that is? Maybe before your time.
I've never had meatloaf.
That's meatloaf.
That's meatloaf, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, meatloaf. On your bag of goods, you got some ground beef, you got some breadcrumbs, some pepper, some green bell pepper, some onions. Make sure you small dice those onions and your bell peppers. Saute them in a little bit of butter or oil, okay? Set them aside. Grab your breadcrumbs and soak them in milk. Equal parts, okay? Soak them in milk, okay? Go ahead and put your ground beef in the bowl. Add your sauteed onions and peppers, a little bit of salt, maybe some fresh cracked black pepper. And then go ahead and take your soaked breadcrumbs and milk, squeeze them, not so hard, okay? You're gonna leave some moisture in the breadcrumbs and mix them into your meatloaf, peppers and onions, and about an egg or two. You may add some cheese if you want to as well, okay? 1 whole egg or 2 eggs, depending how much ground beef you got. Mix them all very well, okay? And then put them in a little loaf pan. You might have got a little loaf pan, okay? Put them in a loaf pan, almost all the way to the top, and cover it with aluminum foil. Put that loaf pan on top of a cookie tray if you have one, or some kind of a baking vessel, and pop it in the oven at 350 degrees, preheated oven. It'll take about 30 to 45 minutes until the internal temperature gets to 165 degrees, okay? Now, the reason why you put a cookie sheet on the bottom is because that ground beef has some fat in it, and the fat is going to rise to the top. Okay, if it rises to the top, it's going to fall into your oven, and you're going to have smoking signals. It might have a fire in your oven, your stove. So the cookie sheet is going to catch your fat drippings on it, so you don't have to worry about, having a fire in your house. Okay. Once it's done, 165, take it out slowly and carefully. Don't burn yourself with a towel, and let it rest for about 30 minutes. And the cutting board, try to flip that meatloaf upside down and remove the loaf pan. Okay, if you can. So go around the edges with the paring knife, try to give it some help, and then remove that meatloaf. Okay. Once it's well rested, go ahead and slice it, not too thin because it's going to fall apart. Okay, not too thin. Slice it, and then go ahead and start presenting on your plate. Now, you may add, you may do ketchup, or you can make some gravy if you can, if you have the products to make a little bit of gravy. Okay, your choice, ketchup or gravy. Okay. So you have your green beans, your mashed potatoes, and your meatloaf. Okay. And that's for tomorrow's menu. So tomorrow's menu is an easy way to get back into the groove of things, okay? Tuesday, you have New England clam chowder with oyster crackers, okay? We're gonna cover Wednesday in the next slide, okay? So you have New England clam chowder with oyster crackers. If you take a look at the recipe, it has you make a bechamel. We're not going to do that, okay? This is the one time that I'm going to tell you guys how to make a New England clam chowder without following that recipe that's on the portal, okay? So you're going to make it with oyster crackers, okay? You also got beer batter fish and chips with tartar sauce, okay? And, so think about tomorrow. Okay. You also have Boston baked beans. So tomorrow, when you start doing your meatloaf, your green beans, and your mashed taters, go ahead and soak your beans for the next day and put them in your cooler. Okay. Twice the amount of water per beans, so they'll soak up overnight, and then won't take that long to cook on Wednesday. Okay.
Chef Miguel.
Yes.
What if we don't have the chance to go buy the ingredients for tomorrow? Because I don't know if I'll be able to make it.
Okay. So if you can, that's awesome. If you cannot, then go ahead and be online too. So tomorrow, what we're gonna do is everybody's gonna have to have their camera on the kitchen. Okay. So we want to see how everybody sets up their mise en place, while they cook, and how they present. You guys got about 3.5 hours to present, okay? So if you can't do that, at least be online so you can watch everybody how they're cooking. So when you get your ingredients, you can kind of see how they do as well too, okay?
Okay, so we have to have our video on the entire time while we're cooking?
Bingo.
Okay.
In your kitchen and your tables, okay? So if you have a distraction tomorrow, shut off your camera and, take care of business. Because I know sometimes here my dog goes crazy and I got to go, see who's knocking at the front door or tell them to shut up and then come back online, okay? So if you do have a distraction, go take care of business, but come back and then have your video on while you're cooking, okay? So Boston baked beans, okay? That's tomorrow's menu. So, I mean, Wednesdays. So for tomorrow, it's an easy way to get in. You got green beans, which should take you about maybe 30 minutes from A to Z to get them prepped, cooked, sauteed, and hold them aside, okay? You got mashed potatoes, takes about 30 to 45 minutes, depending on how your stove gets, if you got gas or electricity. You got meatloaf. So I would suggest tackle your meatloaf first, okay? My suggestion would be do meatloaf first, get it in the oven while that's cooking, get your potatoes going. Once the potatoes are boiling, start working on your green beans, okay? Set them aside. You might want to blanch them before the mashed potatoes are done, okay? Blanch them and set them aside, okay? And then have your mashed potatoes ready to rock and roll. By that time, your meatloaf should be coming out within a few minutes of your mashed potatoes being done. If your meatloaf is done, pull it out, set it aside, let it rest. Cover your potatoes so they're not get cold, and start sauteing your green beans. Okay. By that time, it'll be about 10-15 minutes of your meatloaf being rested, and start plating up your dish tomorrow. So meatloaf first, mashed taters, and your green beans third. That's a time sequence that I should go tomorrow. Okay. Let me see if I can pull up Wednesdays. Okay. So we can go for Wednesday. Any questions on tomorrow? So far. Easy there, right? Okay. So tomorrow you have, I believe, 4 hours in total time. You're going to make it before 4 hours, okay? Class starts at 2, we end at 6. You're going to be done with this meal by at least, I don't know. The meatloaf takes about 45 minutes. Potatoes take about 30, 40. You're going to be done in about 2.5 hours or so, okay?
Okay, I got a quick question.
Sure.
I just slipped my mind. I'll come back to it. I forgot what I was gonna ask.
Okay. So green beans, mash, and meatloaf.
Okay. So we can't modify the recipe, right?
It not go too out the beaten path. Like the meatloaf, you got some wiggle room.
Okay, because my mom had a recipe meatloaf, and I've always made that. Can I use that recipe, or do I have to use exactly what's on the portal?
So you can use that recipe. There are some times where you cannot modify the recipe. This one, go ahead and you can do it like grandma does. Okay.
Okay.
And just FYI, I do have a video if you guys want to look at it. Has anybody made meatloaf in the past?
I have.
Okay. Yes. No. Maybe.
I've made it quite a few times.
Okay. Think about culinary arts when you guys made that pate or the terrine, right? That was called meatloaf. This is hot meatloaf, okay? So here, I just posted a link on your chat room about this video called Prison Style Meatloaf, okay? By Chef John Foodwishes.com, okay? You may take a look at it. It's going to show you that technique and why it's kind of important to soak your breadcrumbs in milk. Okay. You don't have to follow his recipe. Again, this is one of the recipes that you have wiggle room to play with. Okay. So it's a cool video. I always show it the first day when we're making meatloaf. It's, you know, get a little bit of kick out of it. Okay. So foodwishes.com, how to make meatloaf. Calls it prison style meatloaf. All right. Any questions about tomorrow before we move on to Wednesday? All right. So Wednesday, we are going to be in Northeast. Anybody from the Northeast?
I am.
What the Northeast?
Oh wait, never mind. Northwest.
Northwest. Seattle, Washington, right?
Oregon.
I mean,
Oregon,
my
yeah.
mom was from Connecticut.
Northeast, been to, again, when I moved to the East Coast, New York, Ohio, Connecticut, Rhode Island, not Rhode Island, Maryland, and DC, New Jersey. Okay. Yes, students online should buy you ingredients with your stipend. Okay. Sorry, I missed that question. Okay. So Northeast cuisine, again, a lot of New England tribes influence. Okay. Before the British migrated, the Native American tribes of the North America had already occupied the land of the 100 for years, hundreds of years. Remember Thanksgiving, right? Thanksgiving. Okay. In fact, what much of European settlers learned about harvesting crops and surviving in a new land was adapted from the Native Americans. That's what they learned how to survive in the land. Long landing point of the immigrants, the New England is a rich cultural stew pot into which new arrivals added their flavor, their food traditions. So the Pilgrims have a lot of influence. When the Pilgrims first arrived in the New World, they encountered a culinary landscape full of unfamiliar foods. Of course, there were foods that were very first confounded the Pilgrims, like turkeys, cranberries, squash. I remember driving through Connecticut in the fall and seeing wild turkeys on the road. I'm like, I hope I can hit one so I can have Thanksgiving dinner. Just kidding. I don't kill animals. I just butcher them and eat them. Okay. Anyways, 17th century, Native Americans and English immigrants came to the contact along New England's rocky coast. Okay, the Pilgrims. That's where it all started. Okay. Native American food. The supplemented these foods with the wild foods obtained through hunting, fishing, and gathering. Many modern foods such as cornbread, hominy, that's right, hominy. Okay, Mexico's not the only one that had hominy, pozole. Hominy was also in the Northeast. Okay, Johnny cake. Does anybody know what Johnny cake is? Johnny cake is similar to the fry bread. Clam chowder. There's two types of clam chowder. Does anybody know the other kind? We just went over the New England clam chowder. Two types of clam chowder. Nobody? You got New England clam chowder, we just went over. Okay. And the other clam chowder, it's a broth soup. It's called Manhattan clam chowder. It has no cream. It has carrots, mirepoix, celery, onions, garlic, carrots, potatoes, and tomatoes in a broth with clams, no cream. So you have New England clam chowder, the traditional one, and you have Manhattan clam chowder because of the Italian influence, tomatoes. Okay. Anyways, clam chowder had the origins of the original cruise cuisine of New England. Overall, the diet of New England natives prior to the European invasion seems to have been healthier than the Europeans at the same time. Indian people consume a great variety of different plants, both domesticated and wild, as well as fish, fowl, and meat. Among other things, food was freely shared. The better diet and food sharing resulted in people from who were often larger than the Europeans, because they were hunters. They were physically active, surviving off the land. Okay, so here's a typical colonial New England meal. Salted, dry salted codfish. Ooh, I can't do that. We have, what do we have, Mr. Corey, in the dry storage for a long time? Tons of it. The salted codfish, right? The little wooden boxes in the freezer.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. That was utilized for the bacalao, a Spanish soup of salted codfish. Take a look at that fish. It's got about 3,400 milligrams of sodium per every 3 ounces. Too much. Okay. Bacon. We love bacon. Okay. Cabbage and turnips, brown biscuits and butter, apples, white crackers, Indian pudding and beer. When I moved from California to New York, I came across a dish with a braised kale. And I'm looking at it and like, dude, to me back in Southern California, that's a landscape ornament. Why are you going to eat that? But again, I was ignorant at the time. And kale is now, maybe organic kale is one of the superfoods. Okay. I used to look at it, the purple, the wine, the regular kale, and you know, and the lawns in California. I'm thinking, why are you going to eat that stuff? Right. But again, okay. So products from New England, cornbread, hominy, not just in Mexico, New England, Johnny cake that looked like Indian fried bread, and of course, ice cream, Ben & Jerry's, huge in New England, back in the East Coast, okay? So huge tradition, New England clam bakes. Have you guys served the clam bakes from New England? Anybody? Clam bakes in the East Coast, think of crawfish boil or shrimp boil in Louisiana, okay? But instead of crawfish, Maine lobsters, potatoes, corn, shrimp, oysters, clams, everything you can think of. We used to use them we used to make them at work. We used to have a steam kettle jacket, about 80 gallons, and get a couple of cases of Maine lobster inside the kettle. Corn, red skin potatoes, oysters, clams, shrimp, all that good stuff. Like I said, think about a crawfish boil, but with Maine lobsters in the mix, not crawfish, okay? Again, because of the East Coast, Maine lobsters are relatively cheap to buy. They're huge. So clam bakes in the East Coast, traditionally, you dig a hole in the ground on the beach. You light it up on fire with the coals, the firewood. You line it up with seaweed. You throw your pot in it, your seafood, your potatoes, corn, some water. You cover more seaweed, and you let it cook underground. And then you come back, dig it up, set up a huge table, family style, and just go at it. Huge, jumping on lobster, not crawfish. That's a clam bake, okay? Anyways, they're cooked by steaming the ingredients over layers of seaweed. Shellfish can be supplemented with vegetables such as onions, carrots, corn on the cob. Clam bakes are usually held on the festive occasions along the coast of New England. Okay, they're huge in New England, okay? And that's what it looks like, a clam bake. Again, think about crawfish boil, but instead of crawfish, lobsters. That's heaven to me. So look at that. Just go to town.
There's no seasoning on that.
No, because again, Northeast doesn't they don't do a lot of spicy food. They don't do a lot of spicy food, but that's a clam bake. That's what it's. That's how it's set up, and that's how it is. Mussels, clams, oysters, shrimp. Throw some sausages in there too. Like I said, it's almost like a shrimp boil or crawfish boil, but lobsters instead. Okay, huge. Here's some top England Northeast coast dishes. Boston baked beans, which are on the menu for Wednesday. Okay, Newport clam chowder, Irish boiled dinner, corned beef, lobster stew, Boston cream pie. I love Boston cream pie. Brown bread and Adama bread. Okay. So the Big Apple, okay, New York. Okay, nothing exemplifies the American melting pot like New York City. Arriving from far-flung places, immigrants enrich the city with their culinary traditions. Jewish specialists like pastrami and all manner of Italian and Chinese dishes tantalize New Yorkers before gradually being absorbed into the culinary culture of the entire country. Russians, Puerto Ricans, huge Puerto Rican population. I remember coming out of work at the Hilton and Towers, and I came out of work from the because the locker rooms were the below street level. I came out and like, what the heck is going on? See nothing but sea of Puerto Ricans all over the place. Flags, all kinds of things happening. Music, noise. I'm like, okay. It's Puerto Rican Day Parade in New York. It's huge. It's huge. It's like 4th of July. It's big. And they take over 6th Avenue. So anyways, New Yorkers begin gradually absorbing the culinary culture. Middle Easterns, Greeks, the list of those who have added to New York City spans the globe, making New York's boroughs a treasure of world cuisines. The Reuben sandwich, you guys made that in culinary arts, right? And New York cheesecake too, okay? There was a place that shut down in New York on 5th Avenue, no, 7th Avenue, between 54th and 57th Street. It was called Carnegie Deli. Huge, a lot of history, a lot of celebrities used to go there. You buy a Reuben sandwich for like $24. It's 2 pounds of corned beef between 2 slices of bread, some pickles and some chips. Expensive like a mother, but they were big and huge. Carnegie Deli shut down. There was one here in Austin. It used to be called Katz's Deli, West 6th Street, right almost across from Whole Foods on 6th Street. The place shut down 5-10 years ago. They were cooking the books, not paying the taxes and what have you not, but it used to be like, man, off the hook. You go in 2 o'clock in the morning, the best matzo ball soup. So New York cheesecake. You guys make cheesecake in 201, right? What is the difference between New York cheesecake and a regular cheesecake?
It's thicker and richer.
No.
Isn't the New York cheesecake not cooked in a water bath? Like the top of it's all like charred and caramelized.
Bingo. New York cheesecake has a golden crust on top. That's a New York cheesecake. Regular cheesecake is just plain Jane. It's in the water bath and it's covered, so it doesn't have the golden crust on top. So notable nibbles from the Northeast. Pennsylvania, Italian immigrants created what would become the famous Philly cheesesteak. Philly cheesesteak. To be truly legit, they use Cheez Whiz. No, they'll never use Cheez Whiz in Philly cheesesteak. Okay, anybody from Philly is going to cuss you out. Americans of German descent beloved the warm comfort foods like chicken pot pie and regional wonders like scrapple, shoe fly. Do you guys know why they call it shoe fly pie? You guys ever had it? Know about it? Shoe fly pie is loaded with sugar and molasses. So in the old days, housewife used to make the shoe fly pie, leave it on the windowsill to cool down. Hence, the sugar and molasses, a lot of flies would come in and try to get to the pie, so it would go shoe fly, shoe fly. Hence the name shoe fly pie. Okay, and the soft pretzel. Up in Vermont, formidable cheddar cheese industry took shape to rival the best farmhouse cheddars in England. All across New England, clam shacks also serve up main classics like the lobster rolls, popovers, Vermont maple float, Vermont apple pie, and again, apple butter. Apple butter is delicious. It's off the hook, man. If you know somebody that makes it or has it from their apple orchards, man, buy it if you can. It's like having Florida butter or Kerrygold on a spread on some toast is delicious. For cod's sakes, 17th century, the waters of the Northern Atlantic were said to be so stuffed with cod that a person could bound from boat to boat across the glistening banks. As with the bison of the prairie, the seemingly infinite cod proved all too finite. Though depleted by overfishing, cod, most of the Pacific cod now, remains a very popular dish nationwide. Faced nationwide. Oysters, clams, and lobsters industries have also thrived in the Northeast. So New England clam chowder, okay, now you know this is a Manhattan clam chowder with tomatoes and a broth. Shirley's Maine clam chowder, cod fish cakes, Mom's oyster stew, and boiled lobsters are huge in the Northeast. What about Italian American? No one has contributed more foods to the American dinner table than Italian Americans. Immigrants, Northeast, strong Italian Americans, enclaves in New York City, Boston North End, and South Philly has shaped a new way of American hybrid cuisine based on old world traditions. Italian American cuisine marked by an enthusiastic appreciation for and appropriation of New World's abundance, which translates into dishes piled high with meat, cheese, and sauce. Like Melissa's Chicken Cacciatore, New York style pizza. So the best pizza that I ever had was in New York, Lower Manhattan, 6th Avenue and 3rd Street, little corner hole in the wall called Ray's Pizzeria. Now there are 1,000 Ray's Pizzeria in New York City, but this one, it's a walk-up counter with a couple of stools. You walk up, order pizza, and you take it. So I used to go there and I used to order the Sicilian pie. It's basically the size of a sheet tray, and the crust is like a focaccia, that thick. hence the name Sicilian pie, loaded with tomato sauce and whatever toppings, and you add it to it. We'll never finish it. Always ended up taking on the subway back home because I would never finish it. Okay. So pizza. Anyways, they have the world's best lasagna too, and eggplant parmesan. Okay. Americanizing the restaurant. Those two are Benedict's. Okay. Northeast played a major role in establishing the America's restaurant culture. The classic American diner evolved from those horse-drawn lunch wagons in the 1870s. The ticket concept got its start from the Chinese restaurants in New York City during the 1930s. And on the high end, New York City's of Monaco's. Have you guys heard of the Monaco steak? It's big in the Midwest and the Northeast. The Monaco steak is topped with sauteed onions and bell peppers, and it's seared, not grilled. Okay, and it was whose first door opened in the 1820s, set the standard for the dining American cuisine. The Monaco chefs is credited for inventing such well-known dishes as chicken a la king, eggs Benedict, and lobster Newburgh. Eggs Benedict. You guys made eggs Benedict in 2-in-1, right? Or no? How about for your brunch? You guys have a brunch?
Yeah, but I don't think anybody made eggs Benedict.
Okay. So eggs Benedict, you have your English muffin, right? That is lightly toasted. You slice Canadian bacon, which is smoked pork tenderloin, your poached egg, and your hollandaise sauce, correct? That is eggs Benedict, right? So a while ago, when I landed here in Texas, I was having an issue with my eggs Benedict on my buffet line. They were getting dried out, and I was getting some terrible comments because they had no flavor. So I was thinking on not how to reinvent the wheel, but also how to make him regional to the state of Texas and the Southwest. So what I came up with, I took away the English muffin and did a croissant. So I have a croissant, okay, and then pit one ham, not Canadian bacon, pit one ham lightly grilled, the poached egg still on top. And then I made a mixture of 50% queso dip and hollandaise mixed together. And that went on top of the Benedict. My negative reviews and comments went away. And it became a Southwestern eggs Benedict. Did not reinvent the wheel. Hollandaise was there. The meat was there. The bread was there. And the poached egg was there. It became one of the signature dishes for breakfast and brunch. So think about it, okay? Queso dip, hollandaise, ham, and then croissant. Why the croissant, you might ask? Because the croissant, if you got something from 2-1, it's a laminated dough. Has a lot of moisture, correct? A lot of butter folded into it. So it has a lot of moisture and it stays a little bit longer. It doesn't get dried out. It helps the bacon give it moisture and it doesn't become so crispy that you can't bite into it, okay? And of course, vichyssoise, which is a cold potato leek soup. I don't know who was hungry now before they invented that dish. The beautiful swimmer. For many food-minded folks, Maryland, yes, means one thing. Blue crab. The best crab cakes, hands down, that I ever had have been in Maryland. They're huge too. Fast-moving crustacean, the beautiful swimmer, populates the waters of Chesapeake Bay and features predominantly in crab cakes and soups. Often it is simply packed with dry spices and steamed whole in beer. Many crab houses prepare their own spicy blends. Spicy seasonings were influenced from former slaves in the Caribbean who brought the taste of the land's island spices when they settled around the Chesapeake Bay. All right, go ahead. So crab cakes, crab cakes, big, huge in Maryland. Like I said, the best one so far, okay? So on Wednesday, I'm gonna wait till Corey comes back. So take a look at the recipe on Wednesday or the time chart. Somebody take a look at it and read it, see what it says?
Okay, I got it up now.
Okay.
For the chowder, oh wait, I clicked the wrong thing. For chowder, says salted pork or bacon, celery, onion, clams, clam veloute, potatoes, thyme, heavy cream, salt, Tabasco, Worcestershire, white pepper, and scallion.
Okay.
That's all it says.
So take a note. Okay. Take a note of the soup. Okay. Like you said, it says clam veloute, right? We're not going to do that. Okay. So jot down your notes on the soup. Okay. So you have your chopped clams with your clam juice. You have your potatoes, celery and onions. I believe it has carrots, so I'm not too sure. Heavy cream, and then your salted pork fat or bacon, right? So we're gonna make it a one-pot wonder. That means we're not gonna make bechamel, clam bechamel, and then do the soup over here. So we're gonna do it all in one pot, okay? So you're gonna have everything ready to rock and roll. You're gonna have your mise en place, celery, onions, your carrots, I think it has them. You're gonna have your chopped clams, your clam juice, do not discard clam juice. You're gonna have your pork product, either your bacon, your salt pork. You're gonna have your chopped fresh thyme. And you're gonna have your, also your heavy cream ready to rock and roll, and your flour, AP flour. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna cut up your pork product, render it in a stock pot, not saute pan, stock pot. You need to be deep, okay? Render it to extract as much bacon fat as you can. If you don't have enough bacon fat, add some little bit of whole butter and melt it and mix it in it, okay? Once you have done that, you're gonna add your onions, celery, lightly saute them. You're gonna add your flour, AP flour. For this much, let's say you're gonna add about maybe like half a stick of butter, or as I probably think about maybe an ounce, 2 ounces of butter. You're gonna add it to your pork fat. You might want to add maybe like about half a cup of sifted AP flour, mix it in. You're gonna make your roux with the pork fat, your pork product, your onions and celery. You're gonna make everything into a roux. Once that is done, you're gonna drop your clams juice, or your chopped clams with clam juice, okay? Once it starts somewhat simmering, drop in your peeled and small diced potatoes, okay? Slowly bring it to a boiling point and drop that heat to low or medium, and let it continue to simmer, okay? What's gonna happen now is the top of that liquid, you're gonna have some, it's gonna create a foam. You're gonna take a look at it, it's gonna have a foam on it. Once in a while, go back and stir it, especially at the bottom. You don't want that roux to start burning or scorching the bottom, so don't have it on high heat. Low to medium is better, let it take its time, okay? Once that foam goes away, okay, completely, adios, hasta la vista, you're gonna add your heavy cream, okay? Add your heavy cream. For this much, you might need about 1 to 2 cups of heavy cream, okay? I believe. It's gonna turn off-white color, okay? You're gonna also mix it in so that cream disperses to the soup. You can also let it simmer, okay? Not on high heat, low to medium, for about 15, 20 minutes, okay? Until the bubbles becomes to get a little bit more slower. As it simmers, you're gonna still continue to stir it to make sure that roux is dispersed throughout, okay? The last thing that should go in there is your fresh thyme, and you're gonna hit it with a little bit of salt and taste it as you go, okay? All in one pot. So forget about the clam juice bechamel, okay? You're gonna taste it as you go. The flavor profile, it should not be fishy, should not be clammy. It should have a velvety, smooth, silky texture to the palate because of the heavy cream. And it should be mellowed in clam flavor with the potato starch embedded in it, okay? So potato, clam, and the heavy cream, all three in a semi-equal balance. Okay, if it's too much cream, then you add too much, or if it's too much clams, then not add enough cream, okay? And the potatoes need to be in there too. So first is your heavy cream, the clams, and the potatoes afterwards. And then the very last on the palette should be your fresh thyme. That's what you're looking for on the clam chowder. Any question on that soup? It takes about, I would say, 45 minutes. You gotta let it take its time, okay? The key ingredient is to make sure you have enough fat when you render the bacon. That's why I said add a little bit of butter so you can make that roux in it, okay? And also, like I said, mix it once in a while, stir it so you don't want the bottom to be scorched. Hopefully when you do it, don't, if you have a stock pot that is a little bit more heavier gauge to the bottom, use it. Don't use a stainless steel one that is very thin, because stainless steel is very thin. It's going to produce a lot of heat. It might scorch your product at the bottom. Okay. So stir it nice and gently. Do not break the potatoes, because the texture needs to be, the potatoes still need to be whole, not like gone. You can't see the potatoes. Okay. And it's supposed to be creamy, like it coats the back of the spoon, nappe. That's what we're looking for in that soup. Off-white and nappe. Okay. Not too thick. A lot of restaurants make it so thick it looks like oatmeal or grits at a buffet, like concrete. No. Okay. Remember when you guys made cream of potato soup in 101? Kind of like that. Okay. Your oyster crackers. The recipe is straightforward. Okay, you've been cut up by half. Okay, otherwise you make a whole bunch. Believe me, you don't want to make a big batch of dough. Cut it by half. Okay, so make that dough. It's really simple. You're gonna roll it real thin, almost like the width of a key, maybe that thin. Okay, but when you roll it, make sure you flour your table. Okay, like Baker's do, like skipping a stone. You flour your table, and put that dough at the bottom. And then pick it up, flour your table again, and turn that dough upside down. And slowly, very low, slowly, gently press down in the middle of the dough to expand it. Okay. And then once you get it to expand a little bit more, then go ahead and start rolling it from the middle up, and then roll from the middle down, and then turn it. Okay. When you turn it, if you find resistance, that means you don't have enough flour at the bottom. So gently pick up your dough, flour your table, turn it upside down, lubricate that dough. And flour the top a little bit, and then start rolling it again. Okay, it's going to take some labor on that dough. Once you get to that thinness, you may use the back of one of your star tips on your tool knife kit to punch out the little round shapes. Okay, unless you got a little small cookie cutter, you can do so. It's going to take some time. That's going to give you some time. Okay. Once you punch them out, have a cookie sheet. Either you can spray it, or if you have parchment paper, lay it down. Maybe 2 middle spoons on top of the parchment paper. Set up your oyster crackers, pop them in the oven. Okay, they're not going to take a long time. Maybe 20-25 minutes until they become golden brown. When you take them out, they should be very light, feather light. Okay, should be light. So at the 20-minute mark, take them out, get one, feel it how light it is. If it's not light enough, put it back in. Or maybe your dough is too thick. And then once it cools down, try to crack it or eat it. If it crumbles, if it's real flaky and crumbles, you got it. If you're gonna fight for it, and then you're gonna bite it, and it's still dense, it's too thick or not baked long enough. Okay. So that's your oyster crackers. Okay. Beer batter, fish and chips. Your French fries, you can cut them whatever shape you want. You can do whatever you want with them. Okay, as long as they're French fries, you know you got to blanch them first and then fry them the second batch. Okay. Tartar sauce. Hope you guys remember how to make tartar sauce, right? Does anybody have one of those little cheap Walmart immersion blenders at your house?
I have a handheld immersion blender.
Yeah, they're like 15, 20 bucks. Mine broke and I went and buy another one. Got on a special, 15 bucks. Anyways, if you don't, might be a good time to invest in one because the mayonnaise is a pain in the arse to make by hand. You're going to be whisking it. Okay. So the best thing to do, again, grab a measuring cup that is about the size of a quart mixed cup from school. Drop, what is it, 3 egg yolks in it, 2 tablespoons of cold water, about a teaspoon of lemon juice, pinch of salt, okay? And utilize the immersion blender by holding the measuring cup with your immersion blender, emulsify the product, okay? And then have somebody help you hold that cup with the hand, and then drop the canola oil, and then slowly drop it in as you're processing emulsifying those egg yolks with lemon juice and water. Slowly dropping your canola oil in it while using the plunger motion on your immersion blender until you see the mayonnaise start to take shape. When you stick it out, go ahead and pull it out. Now you have mayonnaise. It's real easy. It should take no longer than 5 minutes. The hardest part is cracking the eggs and separating the egg yolk. Okay, so you can make tartar sauce. Real easy, guys. The beer batter, fish and chips. The fish. When you get your fish, cut it, pat it dry, make the batter, and try one. Okay. Maybe you want to coat the fish in cornstarch. If you have some more bag of groceries, coat the fish in cornstarch, not flour, lightly in cornstarch, and shake off the cornstarch as much as you can, and dip it into the batter. The batter is supposed to look like the consistency of pancake batter. Dip it in, take it out, okay, and then drop it slowly on your hot oil when you're frying it. Go ahead and start dropping it slowly, but don't let it go until the bottom starts getting golden brown, and then let it go so you won't burn your hand. And then just shake that pot back and forth so it doesn't get stuck to the bottom, one at a time. Because if you do them all at the same time, they're going to sink to the bottom, they're going to get stuck, and then you're going to have a sticky mess up the bottom, okay? And you know when they're golden brown, stick them off, pat them dry, and then have your French fries, tartar sauce, and stop plating up, okay? And your baked beans. So your baked beans, it's going to take the longest. It's going to take about maybe 45 minutes. So the first thing you should do, start cooking your beans, and then start working on your clam chowder, okay? Once you have the clam chowder going, don't put it aside. Keep on looking at it. Check the beans often, like every 10, 50 minutes until they're nice and tender. When they're done, take them off, strain them, and then mix in all the ingredients with the baked beans, okay? Mix them in, and then put them in a container. You can bake them up in the oven for like about 10, 50 minutes, and that's it. But taste the ketchup, the brown sugar, the molasses, all those flavors, taste them. Then make sure they're not sweet enough, and adjust them with some spices if you need to, maybe a little bit of chili powder if you have some, okay? Adjust it, mix them all in, and put them back in the oven, okay? So you got beans, Boston baked beans, get them going first on the stove top, work in your clam chowder, go back to your beans. Once the clam chowder is, you drop the heavy cream, it's gonna take about maybe 10 minutes to finally cook the heavy cream in it. Set it aside, pull your baked beans out of the oven, and start working your fish and chips. That should be the last one for you guys to do, okay? Any questions on that? This one is a little bit more labor intense, so it's going to take a little bit more time, okay? But if you soak the beans today, it's going to take you less time for tomorrow, okay? The item is going to cost you the longest to make is going to take the clam chowder, okay? Because they got a lot of components to go in it. But just as I walk you through it, follow those steps, and you'll make an awesome clam chowder.
How long should you soak the beans for?
Overnight.
So, I mean, just 24 hours?
Yep.
Or like, could I do it today, start it tonight, and just let them soak until Wednesday?
Do it tonight if you can.
Okay.
Drop me and let them go. Okay. Okay. So Boston baked beans, okay? So that's for Wednesday. Thursday, we go in the kitchen. Guess what? You're making shrimp and grits and crab cakes. So same deal with the mayonnaise, okay? Same deal. Now in the kitchen, we are going to have the immersion blender, and I will show you guys a demo how to make the mayonnaise in less than 5 minutes using the immersion blender, okay? So crab cakes, shrimp and grits and crab cakes on Thursday, okay? You're also going to make Hoppin' John. If it's left over for the next day, it becomes a Skippin' Jenny. Don't ask me why, I don't know. Okay. So shrimp and grits, crab cakes, and Hopping John for Thursday. Okay, that's on Thursday. Any comments, any questions on tomorrow's menu or Wednesday's menu before going to Thursdays? No? Okay. We got about another hour and a half. I'm gonna try to pick up the speed a little bit faster because we got 2 more days to cover. Okay. So that's your menu for Wednesday. Now let's take a look at Thursday, okay? Thursday, we're looking at East Coast and Low Country. East Coast and Low Country. There's a dish called Low Country Ragu. Okay, it's an old dish. It pretty much is ratatouille with tomatoes. Okay, lots of tomatoes. So East Coast and Low Country. Alphabetically order, the states in this region are Alabama, Florida, Georgia, Kentucky, Louisiana, Mississippi, North Carolina, Oklahoma, believe it or not, South Carolina, Tennessee, Virginia, and West Virginia. Virginia is a beautiful state. You drive by through it, man, it's a lot of vegetation. Okay. Oh, Mr. Logan. Got you. Okay. Anyways, population of the southern United States is made up of many different people who came to the region in a variety of different ways. American Indians, native to the region, European settlers to grow and cook corn, grain unknown in Europe. Spaniards, explorers in the 1500s, brought pigs with them, introduced pork to the region. West Africans carried some of their traditional foods with them, such as watermelons, eggplant, collard greens, and okra. Ooh, collard greens. My favorite with some bacon and some Cajun spices. Cooked in a ham hock broth. Okay. So East Coast and Low Country, French and Haitian immigrants who later mingled with the Spanish settlers. The American Civil War, 1861-1865, had a major impact on the South and its food. Many plantations and farms were destroyed during the conflict. To survive, Southerners ate whatever they could grow or find, and nothing went to waste. When the economy began to recover, most African Americans were not allowed to share the newfound wealth and continued to eat the simple foods that were available during the war. Type of simple and expensive food became known as soul food. Okay, that is where soul food started. Okay. Low Country cuisine, cooking traditionally associated with the Southern Carolina Low Country and Georgia coast, shares features with the Southern cooking. Geographic, economics, demographics, and culture push its culinary identity in a different direction from regions above the fall line, which is rich in diversity and seafood from the coastal estuaries. Concentration of wealth in Charleston and Savannah and the vibrant African cuisine influenced Low Country cooking as a strong parallels with New Orleans and Cajun cuisine. Low Country includes the coastal regions, South Carolina and Georgia. Different opinions as to what exactly South Carolina Low Country encompasses. The term is mostly frequently used to describe the coastal area of the South Carolina that stretches from the Apollos Islands, South Carolina to the confluence of Savannah River and the Georgia state line. More generous accounts argue that the region extends further north and the west, including the Atlantic coast plains of South Carolina and Georgia. Geography is critically a factor of distinguishing the region's culinary identity from the areas in the south. Okay. So Low Country, here's some of the foods. Appetizers, they got Benny oyster soup, Low Country boil, Country Captain, frogmore stew, shrimp and grits, and that is exactly what you guys be cooking that day, shrimp and grits. Shrimp category, oyster roast, crab cakes, another dish from the East Coast, Low Country. Rice, Charleston's red rice, purloo, chicken bog, salmon and rice. Cooter soup. Anybody, you guys had turtle soup before? No? Anybody know turtle soup? Anybody have frog legs? It tastes like chicken. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. Alligator tail. Sheet crab soup, sweet potato and crab soup, gumbo, Brunswick stew. We're gonna make gumbo too, okay? Medium seafood, shrimp and grits, catfish stew, Hoppin' John, fried cabbage, and baked mac and cheese. Okay. Shrimp boil, also known for as low country boil or frogmore stew. Also 2 kinds of social gatherings in coastal Georgia, South Carolina that revolve around shellfish. Okay. One is very much like Louisiana boil, usually involving shrimp, corn on the cob, sausage, and red potatoes. Sometimes ham, and is considered part of the low country cuisine. Known variously as frogmore stew, a Beaufort stew, or a Beaufort boil. Low country boil or topwater boil, they tend to be bitter, milder than the Louisiana customs. For example, it's not unusual for a low country recipe to call for a mixture of hot and mild seasonings, whereas Louisiana may start with the crab boil packets and large amounts of cayenne pepper. A lot of cayenne pepper. Jesus Christ. It's too hot. Anyways, while shrimp are most often used, crabs and crawfish may be included and available. There's also a bit of different Louisiana boil, which involves such one kind of shellfish at a time. Frogmore is the name of a community, middle St. Helena Island in Beaufort, South Carolina. So there are many versions of the dish around. Name Frogmore stew was coined in the 1960s by Richard Gay, one of the owners of the Gay Fish Company, circa 1948. In St. Helena Island, frogmore stew became far better known as featured on the cover of Gourmet magazine in the 1980s and is enjoyed by all with its name to this day. In 2005, the Travel Channel featured Richard's brother, most popular Taste of America with Mark DiCarlo. Anybody from the Low Country region? Atlanta, Georgia? Anybody from there? Anybody recognize frogmore stew? If you guys ever had it, ever heard of it before? Don't speak English, no hablo inglés. Boss, the machine broke, right? Frogmore stew, okay? Low country boil may have been possible influences in Louisiana, as there are some obvious similarities to some dishes of the cuisine in Louisiana. It showcases some of the same set of French, Spanish, African, Caribbean influences, including slave trade influences that Louisiana is known for. Meals for large gatherings, so people will have to be made as quickly as possible with ready available foods. The bowl was quickly and easy way to prepare all the foods at once. The most attended function of to feature frogmore stew, check this out, occurs July on the 10th day. So what's today? So 4 more days, July 10th. A Beaufort Water Festival. In 54 years, so the festival has grown to be the largest totally volunteer-run festival on the southeastern coast. The event feeds about 2,400 people. The recipe includes 12 pounds of shrimp, 2,400 ears of corn, 600 pounds of sausage, 72 ounces of seafood seasonings, and is served with 300 pounds of coleslaw, 250 gallons of iced tea, and 2,400 rolls and 90 watermelons. Oh man, I'd be like in heaven. I don't know about now though. They might cancel that event, right? Not having a smaller scale, but imagine eating all that food and being on that festival. Man, right? In order to get a good idea of what low country cuisine is, you really have to divorce it from a good old southern cuisine. For instance, you'll find fried green tomatoes. Awesome movie too. Great too. Lots of restaurants serving low country cuisine, but in my opinion, it's just southern cuisine, not limited to the low country. So one way to classify might be the use of ingredients that came to North America through the low country, whether it be by colonists or African slaves. Then served at staples for the regions. Inhabitants, some of these ingredients may be widespread in the use of today, but the use of historical connection will always be associated with the low country. So a dish that is used rice as a primary ingredient, such as chicken bog, will be considered low country versus southern because the rice was such a staple in the low country throughout history. In addition to the historical component, there is also a contemporary component to what is now considered low country cuisine. There is where a dish like shrimp and grits comes into play. Since the low country is a coastal region, there's obviously a lot of seafood used in the food there. Shrimp, crab, oysters, surface like red drum, not black drum. We got that one here in Texas, right? You know, Chef Gary likes his black drum. It's extremely common. A dish like shrimp and grits Very common southern ingredient. Grits becomes low country cuisine with inclusion of shrimp. So here's a traditional southern meal: pan-fried chicken. How was that in your class? Did you guys have it on 101?
We didn't have pan fried chicken. We fried it up in a deep fat fryer, but it wasn't pan fried.
Was that with Chef Raph?
Scott.
Ah, okay. You guys had a buffet for the class or just for you guys?
For everybody. The school.
Deep fried chicken, or you call it southern fried chicken, right? Mashed potatoes, what, mac and cheese, and the equipment to go with it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Fried chicken, man, that was awesome. How about black eyed peas? Or field peas as they're known, right? That was black eyed peas. You know they broke up, right? She went solo, right? She's not with them no more.
Yeah. She came up with her own album.
Yeah. And then Hush Puppies. Now the Hush Puppy. Grits, country ham, or Hush Puppies. Hush Puppies are like cornbread fritters, pretty much. Delicious cornbread fritters. Collard greens, such as collard greens on the left. You got mustard greens and turnip greens, or poke salad. Okay. Like I said, I love me some collard greens, some bacon, some spices. Mashed potatoes, cornbread, or corn pone. Corn pone is like polenta. Okay, beautiful cornbread. Sweet tea, dessert, usually sweet potato, shoe fly pie, pecan, or peach, traditional southern pies. The one at the bottom in the middle, that's shoe fly pie. See all that molasses at the bottom, all that brown sugar? That's what they call it, shoe fly. Shoe fly. Okay. Is it pecan or pecan?
I say pecan.
Pecan, not pecan. Okay. Pecan. And chess pie is pretty much a custard pie. It's what it is. Other famous dishes, succotash and mean juleps. Succotash, if you take a look at it, it has corn in it. So if you have a restaurant or a menu, don't use succotash as a side dish because you're going to get some people that are going to question you because corn is is considered a starch, not a veg. Okay. What about mint juleps? What does that look like to you guys? You guys would like to go to the bars and have a couple of cocktails? Who are over 21? Mint mojitos from Cuba. Similar. Use Tito's, of course. What about red-eye gravy? You guys ever heard of it or had it? Or country gravy? Ham with red-eye gravy. It's a thin sauce, often seen with the cuisine of southern United States, associated with the country ham of the region. Other names for this sauce includes poor man's gravy, bird-eye gravy, bottom sop, cedar gravy, or red ham gravy. Gravy is made from the drippings of pan-fried country ham mixed with black coffee. Hence the name red-eye gravy. When you're coming off the club at 2 o'clock in the morning, right? You're going to Danny's or whatever restaurant's open at 4 o'clock in the morning, 3:30, 4 o'clock. You're going to hit that red-eye gravy to keep you awake. Okay? That's what they call it, the red-eye gravy. Okay? Same drippings when mixed with flour and milk creates the base for this sausage gravy. So black coffee made into gravy. Red-eye gravy for these you guys who are nocturnal creatures.
Again, makes you wonder who came up with that, right?
Yeah, who was want to make some gravy out of coffee? What about chocolate gravy? You guys ever heard of it? It's a southern thing, chocolate gravy. And then we got pit barbecue, hot sausages, fried catfish, and red rice. Okay. My favorite sausage is blue and gold. It comes out of Oklahoma. Best one so far that I ever had. They only make it in season once a year. That's it. the Slaughter of the Hogs and the Mexican sausages. It sells like crazy, man. People gobble it up. Okay. And catfish, fried catfish. So when you do fried catfish, always try to get or buy channel catfish, not farm-raised catfish. Because channel catfish swims. Farm-raised sits on the pond eating its own feces. And fried green tomatoes, okra, and bread pudding. Okra, stewed tomatoes or fried okra. And of course, delicious bread pudding with rum sauce.
You can keep the okra. Oh, my dad ruined that for me. He would boil it, and then how we get all slimy, and then he would just slop it right down his throat. Nope, you can keep it.
Yeah, that's when you stew. You boil it. You don't boil all the way through because it's slimy. You take it off. You don't eat that slime.
My dad used to do that all the time. Every time he made okra, that's exactly what he'd do, and then he'd torment me with it.
Oh, I'm sorry, man. That was mean.
Well, yeah, but still, you can keep it.
Yeah. So here's a story about shoe fly pie again. A lot of molasses and Hoppin' John, also known as Carolina peas or rice and rice. It's a peas and rice dish served with the southern United States, made with black-eyed peas or red cow peas, such as iron and clay peas in the southern U.S., and rice, chopped onions, sliced bacon, seasoned with salt. Some recipes, instead of bacon, ham hock, fatback, or country sausage, or smoked turkey parts are used. A few use green peppers or vinegar in spices. Smaller than black-eyed peas, field peas are usually used in the low country in southern Carolina and Georgia. Black-eyed peas are the norm elsewhere. In the southern United States, eating Hoppin' John New Year's Day is thought to bring a prosperous year filled with luck. The peas are symbolic of pennies or coins, and a coin is sometimes added to the pot or left underneath the dinner bowls. Collard greens, mustard greens, or turnip greens, chard kale or cabbage, similar leafy greens and vegetables served along with this dish and are supposed to further add the wealth, since they are the color of American currency, dead presidents, cash, C-notes, pesos, greenbacks, right? Another traditional food, cornbread, also can be served to represent wealth, being the color of gold. Any day New Year's Day, leftover Hoppin' John is called Skipping Jenny, and further demonstrates one frugality, bringing a hope for an even better chance of prosperity in the new year. Okay.
I got a question about the black-eyed peas.
I can answer.
When you make that dish, are you supposed to soak them like you would do any other bean?
You can, but they cook really fast, not like regular navy beans. If you soak them overnight, when you cook them, you better watch them because they're going to cook really fast.
Okay, so you don't necessarily have to soak them like you would do the navy beans?
No, I actually cook them in the class the day of. It takes about maybe 30 minutes to cook the black-eyed peas. They don't take long to cook.
Okay.
And on Thursday, you got shrimp and grits. Okay. So Thursday, you're going to peel and devein the shrimp. So take your notes down. Peel and devein the shrimp. Okay. You're going to make stock with the shrimp shells. Takes about 30, 40 minutes to make the stock. Okay. And you are going to cook the grits in that stock. Now, when you go in the kitchen, you can either A, do communal shrimp stock, or you can do your own if you don't feel comfortable enough sharing the stock with anybody. Okay. So peel and devein the shrimps, make a stock. Don't add no celery, tomatoes, or carrots, just plain shrimp stock. That's it. Shrimp shells and water. Okay. Make a shrimp stock, but be careful because once it starts boiling, all the water is going to flow to the top, creating a raft, and the shrimp shells are going to be on top. So go ahead and push them down and then drop the heat to low to medium so it's not over boiling, making a huge mess in your stovetop. Okay. So make a stock, strain it, and use that liquid to cook your grits. Okay. The last thing that should go in there is your heavy cream and your shredded cheddar cheese. But make sure the grits are al dente. So try them, taste them. Okay. They're not crunchy. They're semi-firm. Once you achieve that, go ahead and drop your heavy cream, a little bit of salt, maybe some cracked black pepper, maybe a touch of cayenne pepper, not too much. Stay away from paprika, okay? Especially the smoked paprika. It kills the flavors, okay? And then go ahead and start, maybe do a quick marinade with the shrimp and then saute them lightly and then put them on top of your grits. Okay. So that's traditional shrimp and grits. Now, if you have any of the juice left from the sauteed shrimp, maybe you want to add a little bit of cornstarch if we have any, and make a little glaze, and then make a little drizzle sauce, so like you see on the picture on the right-hand side. Okay. It's only about 3 shrimp per plate. Okay. So shrimp and grits, peel in the vein, make a shrimp stock, cook the grits in it. Okay. Add the heavy cream, the cheddar cheese, salt, pepper, okay, and set them aside. If they come too thick, hit them with a little bit of more hot stock, shrimp stock. Crab cakes, crab cakes, crab cakes, crab cakes. Okay, I'm going to show you a video of crab cakes. Okay. All I got to say, when you see this video, just don't become ashamed. I'm going to pop it in the screen. Hopefully you guys can see it. Okay. So crab cakes. Okay. Very important that you emphasize the crab meat. So don't be there and try to massage the crap out of those crab meats. Okay. Because again, they're crab cakes, not breadcrumbs or dough. Okay. Your bell peppers, small dice, almost brunoise. Okay, brunoise, lightly heated with some breadcrumbs, and then mix in your eggs and a little bit of mayonnaise. Okay, a little bit of salt, not too much because the crab meats already has a lot of sodium. Okay, form them, and you're gonna pan sear them until they become golden brown, and take them off and set them aside. Okay, and then you're gonna use your remoulade to go with the crab cakes. Okay, what else? And Hoppin' John. So that's your next dish. Again, as soon as you hit the kitchen floor, start cooking the black eyed peas. They don't take about maybe 30, 40 minutes to cook. Okay. So they don't take a long time. Okay. Once you get them cooking, test them for their tenderness. Okay. And then set them aside. Okay. Maybe you want to hit them with a little bit of seasonings to give it some flavor. I don't know if you're going to have some bacon. If you do, render the bacon first. Okay. And then fold it into your black eyed peas. And again, give them some flavor with your celery and onions. And when you do your Hoppin' John, don't mix them all together. Okay. Have the rice at the bottom and the crab cakes, the black eyed peas on top. Okay. Emphasize the rice. Okay. Not mix them in together, otherwise it look like dirty rice. Okay. So your rice, here's another cool trick on that rice, okay? And I said this before a while ago, and I know you guys know how to cook steamed rice, and that is fine and dandy. But again, you got shrimp and grits, you got the crab cakes, and you Hoppin' John. So the way to cook the rice in the kitchen is very easy and simple. It's foolproof, okay? You're gonna take 1 part of rice and 1.5 part of water, okay? So if you're using a cup of rice, use a 1.5 cups of water. Don't put it in a scale. Don't try to measure the scale. 8 ounces of rice, 16 ounces of water. No. Just eyeball it. Like I said, you got a cup of rice, 1.5 cups of water. Okay. Get a round cake pan, mix them both in, cover them with aluminum foil, pop them in the oven for 30, 35 minutes at 350 degrees. Okay. In the round cake pan. Okay, not in a hotel pan, not in a square pan, in the round cake pan. Pop them in for the oven for about 30, 35 minutes, and it's cooked until fork tender. No need to rinse the rice. No need to cook it in the stovetop, because otherwise it'll become mushy, overcooked, burnt, or undercooked. If you have the right ratio, again, 1.5 water, 1 part of rice in the cake pan, aluminum foil, it should be forkable. Easy does it. No salt, no butter, nothing. Just plain rice. Okay.
At what temperature?
350 degrees. High fan. When it's done, take it aside, set it aside. Now what happens is the cake pan is thin enough to cook the rice evenly inside the cake pan. Aluminum foil, when you wrap it on top, not the whole cake pan, is going to prevent that rice from becoming crispy and crunchy on the top layer. Okay, it's gonna encase that steam inside. It's not gonna let it escape. Okay. And I know you guys know how to cook rice in 101, you know, the stovetop with the stock pot and so forth. So on. Now we're gonna in this class you're gonna have a lot of steamed rice as a side dish that you're not gonna have time to think about, you know, cooking rice on the stovetop. This is easy. Pop it in, let it go, set it aside. Okay. And for the next day, Friday, you got gumbo. So on Thursday, you're gonna make dark roux, okay? You're gonna make dark roux on Thursday. It takes about a 2-hour process to make dark roux. You're gonna melt your butter and add your flour, AP flour on it. I usually go 60-40, 40% butter and 60% flour, okay? As you're cooking your Hoppin' John and you're going about, make sure that you keep an eye on your butter. As soon as you get in the kitchen, melt your butter, add your flour on low heat. Go start making your Hoppin' John, your shrimp and grits, and your crab cakes, but also go back and stir your dark roux once in a while. And it's going to turn dark. The color that we want it to be is the color of ganache, dark, rich chocolate. That's the color they want it to be. Once you achieve that, once you get close enough to the color, watch it closely because it's going to turn darker in a split second. Once it turns darker, get it off the stovetop and transfer it to another metal container, not a plastic one because it's going to be nuclear hot. It's going to melt your camera. It's going to melt your biscuit. Ever seen anybody drop hot fry oil in a plastic bucket? It's exactly the same thing that happens here, okay? So start cooking your dark roux. Once you get to that color, and I'll be watching with you guys, get it up to the side and put it aside, okay? Let it cool down before you guys see, tag it, wrap it, and have it ready for the next day, okay? Because you're gonna make chicken and seafood gumbo the next day, okay? Chicken and seafood gumbo with steamed rice, okay? And it's all about the dark roux, the filet powder, what is it? And the all-based spice, okay? The gumbo filet. You're also gonna make French rolls. So we might make the dough on Thursday. We might make the dough on Thursday, okay? You're gonna make French rolls to go on Friday, okay? You're also gonna make beignets on Friday. Beignets are what I call them the sopapilla cousins. They're pretty much the same thing, okay? For that, we may use the fry later to fry the beignets, okay? Beignets on that day. So Friday, you're gonna go out with a bang. Gumbo, steamed rice, rolls, and beignets. Got it? So any questions on Thursday? You got shrimp and grits, fill in the vein, make stock, cook the grits in the stock. When they're almost done, drop your heavy cream and your cheese, a little bit of salt, taste them, set them aside. Saute your shrimp with some little spices. Stay away from a smoked paprika, okay? Your crab cakes, okay? And your Hoppin' John that day, okay?
Okay, so the first thing we should do is the Hoppin' John or the dark roux?
Dark roux and then the Hoppin' John.
And then the crab cakes and then the shrimp and grits?
Shrimp and grits and then the crab cakes afterwards. The crab cakes, the most time is going to spend some time in it is your mise en place, your knife cuts on your peppers. So Hoppin' John and then roux at the same time, okay? Hoppin' John is going to come up within 30 minutes. So once both are going in the oven, the stove top, start peeling and debating your shrimp and making your stock, okay? Put aside your Hoppin' John after you taste this, season them and have them ready to go, okay? I'm sorry, roux, dark roux, Hoppin' John, and then your rice in the oven. And then shrimp and grits, and then your crab cakes at the end. Because the rice is easy, just pop it in the round cake pan, throw it in the oven, let it go. So Hoppin' John, dark roux, rice, shrimp and grits, and crab cakes. Kind of in that sequence, okay?
Chef Miguel?
Yes.
For the glaze for the shrimp, how did you say? I just add cornstarch and then flavoring to the pan?
Right, so if we have any shrimp stock left over, hit it with a little bit of shrimp stock to deglaze the fondant in the pan. and if we have any cornstarch, make a little bit of slurry and thicken that pan sauce or the pan gravy thick enough to make it into a glaze.
Okay, heard you.
Any questions on that on the menu for Thursday? You guys want to take a 10-minute break? You want we keep on going?
I say break for 10 minutes.
All right. So it is.
How much time?
Is what?
Well, how much time do we have like left to finish?
We got another day to go.
Oh, I don't know. Break, I guess.
So let's take a 10-minute break, guys. It is 4:20. Let's come back at 4:30. Okay. So 4:30 we'll start again. Okay. You don't need to run out. Just mute yourself. Okay.
Heard.
Heard, Chef.
Come on.